Okay, I'm going to call to order this work session for February 23rd, 2022. Looks like we have one item regarding an easement agreement. And we have Ms. Nestrogel here to tell us all about it.
Hi, commissioners. Thanks for having me again. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here for a second. Okay, so, and I will note that David Schilling with the legal department is here as well as an attendee if you have any questions. But basically, this is an easement agreement for your review that is between the Bloomington Country Club, Hayden Flats, as well as the Board of Commissioners for work conducted along South Rogers Street. So in the packet of the work session today are two easements that are being provided to the county commissioners that have been reviewed by the Highway Department, stormwater as well, and then legal and planning. So the review is of the easements and signature for work to be completed along South Rogers Street near West Sutar Drive, which is just south of West Country Club Drive. So there's two easement agreements in this packet. You'll see a temporary easement and then a permanent right-of-way easement agreement. Basically, the purpose of these two easements is so that a private developer who has sought a site plan approval for a development along South Rogers Street has been required by the Highway Department to complete a turning lane and passing blister. And the county does not have adequate right-of-way in the area in which they needed to do this improvement. So they sought out an easement from the country club to first do the work at their own expense, which is the temporary easement. And then once that work is completed and inspected by the county, we will obtain and switch over to a permanent right-of-way easement, which allows the public the ability to use the passing lane and also for the county to have the ability to do maintenance of the drainage feature, which will include but not limited to a culvert underneath Sutar. And then the turning lane, like I said, will be located within the easement. So I will go over the easements in the packet for you. And then I will also go over, they have a portion or snippet of the construction plans, which I think really helps clarify what we're talking about and where we're talking about. So this easement agreement is including three parties, as I mentioned. So in the temporary easement agreement, basically my understanding is the purpose of the commissioners to be involved in this easement agreement is so that we're giving basically a permit for the right-of-way work to happen in this location. It would not come at the expense of the county or taxpayers. The work would be completed by GLC Hayden Flats LLC and then inspected by us. And if there are changes or things that need to be brought up to the construction plans that were approved by the Highway Department, those would occur prior to the county taking on the permanent easement agreement. So the easement agreement includes drainage work as well as utility work. So that will involve grading of the side slopes of the pavement expansion, the turn lane, as well as the culvert that will go under West Sutar to make sure that all of the drainage is appropriately repaired following this construction. And then, as I mentioned, after the temporary easement, which is for a period of 2 years or until they are able to complete the work to our satisfaction, there is a permanent easement, which follows this one. And this is the easement area here. So Sutar here, Country Club is up at the top. This is the Bloomington Country Club property. And the easement is approximately 35 feet wide by 324 feet long. And then I've also zoomed in on the easement location here. So just to get your bearings, this is the east side of South Rogers Street. And then this is the west side of South Rogers Street. And the easement area is hatched here. And so the work that would be completed, you can kind of see it in gray on this side is what we were discussing. And then further down, it's a little bit easier to see. So here's the turn lane that would be created to enter into the development. And then the area in yellow here is what we're discussing in terms of the easement. So the grades would be here, and then as well as the culvert underneath Sutar, and then the pavement expansion to allow for the public to be able to pass people that are going to be turning left into the development. And I'm going to go down to the permanent easement. So the permanent right-of-way easement is for after the temporary construction is completed, and that would be just between the country club and the Monroe County Board of Commissioners. So at that point, we would only enter into this agreement after the temporary agreement is completed to our satisfaction. And as I mentioned before, the purpose of this would be to allow the public to continue to use the non-exclusive right-of-way easement to be able to access through there through the turn lane, as well as the passing blister. And then it also identifies that as such, we will be taking on the any necessary maintenance of the drainage facilities or pavement maintenance that needs to occur in those areas in return for that passing blister improvement. And at this point, if you have any questions for me or the legal department, I would be happy to take those at this point.
Great, thank you so much. Commissioner Giffens, do you have any comments or questions? You are muted.
No, I think Mr. Jellin has done a good job of explaining some of this.
Yeah, I had a brief text conversation with Ms. Ridge about the potential for a sidewalk here, and that would be dealt with separately. I didn't know if that needed to be considered now, and she said no. So that was my only concern. But otherwise, this makes a lot of sense, and you've already had it reviewed. My question is for legal as to, is there a time constraint here? Should we go ahead and consider this for a vote today, or were you planning to bring this back next week? So I don't know if, is there a pressing issue here, Ms. Nestor-Jellin?
Oh, it looks like Dave has his hand raised. If tech services can unmute him.
Excellent, thank you so much. That's all happening all at once. Great. Mr. Schilling.
Yes, in response to your question, I think that the developer would like to have this approved ASAP, but I don't believe that another week would make a difference if you need additional information.
Okay. Would we need to ratify this next week, or is this something we can just consider today and move on?
I believe you can consider it today.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Appreciate that insight. I haven't had a lot of these, so always learn something new. Thank you. All right. Commissioner Giffens, would you be amenable to considering this today?
Yes, I think it increases safety in that area.
Yeah.
And it also allows for the utilities to be in there. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it really does. Would you be, let's see if I can get my screen open here so that I can.
If you go to the next page, I think it's got.
I just lost my packet. So here, I got it again.
I think it's up on the screen.
Yep. That's too small for me. Sorry. I'm almost there. I got it open again. We're almost there. Oh my goodness. It's, even though I've got my glasses on, it's pretty small. My screen's small. All right. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to approve the easement agreement between Bloomington Country Club, Hayden Flats, and Board of County Commissioners for work conducted along South Rogers Street.
I'll second that.
All right, and this includes both a temporary easement agreement as outlined in our packet, and it also includes a permanent easement agreement as outlined in our packet. And with that, let's see if there are any members of the public who wish to comment on this item. Please raise your hand on the Zoom screen. I see Mr. Schilling's hand still raised, but I assume it's from before. That's okay. See if there's any, thank you. See if there's any public comment. All right, seeing none. Mr. Cockrell, will you please call the roll on the easement agreement between Bloomington Country Club, Hayden Flats, and the Board of County Commissioners for work on South Rogers Street?
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Githens.
Yes.
Motion is approved 2-0.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thanks for sticking with us. All right. Any other departments wish to bring an item for our work session? Let us know. Raise your hand. I do not see any. So with that, thanks again, TSD, for all your hard work. And with that, unless Commissioner Githens has something, no, we are adjourned. Thanks, everyone. Be well.